When I was a kid, my biggest dream in life was to make a movie. I made anything I could with anyone or anything I could find. But I knew no matter what I did, I'd never have the money, the team, the costumes, the props. Wouldn't even have the opportunity.
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
I knew without a doubt that someone like me would never be able to do what the professionals could. I mean, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't even be able to come close. And because of all that, my childhood dream just kind of slowly started to fade away. Until one day when I was scrolling through YouTube and found this.
Hi everyone, my name's Eric Beck, and welcome to the future home of Backyard FX. The new show where I build Hollywood-style special effects for extra value meal prices.
This is Backyard FX, and this is how one internet show inspired a generation. In 2005, the internet was a much different... Whoa, wait. Since I'm going to be talking about my childhood, I want to try something. This is a screenshot of my childhood bedroom. I want to talk about my favorite childhood internet show from the place where I would enjoy it the most as a child. So hopefully it doesn't look like shit. I'm trying something new. I hope it works. If not, then it's just going to be this. In 2005, the internet was a way different place than we know it as today. Yahoo was the king of search engines, MySpace was the most popular social media platform, and Reddit, well, Reddit has kind of always been Reddit. But on February 15, 2003, three ex-PayPal employees changed the internet forever by launching YouTube.com. That's the place that you're watching this. Hopefully. I hope it's not on a website that ends with a hub again, because that was a really awkward conversation with my mom. Most people think that before YouTube, there wasn't really a place on the internet where you could publicly share videos and people could rate them and comment on them. But there actually was. Filmfights.com was a website ran by this guy, Justin Johnson, which he created in 2003. Here a prompt would be posted along with a time limit, and anyone could make a short film and submit it as long as it fit within the rules. Then members of the site would vote for a winner. Once voting closed, the winner would be shown and announced. Believe it or not, all the footage you're actually seeing is from the website right now as of recording this. It's still up and you can go visit it. Link in the description. One person that would submit films to the website was named Eric Beck. Eric and Justin would become friends to this website, and in 2007, Justin was hired by an internet video startup named Next New Networks. Next New Networks was a company that saw the potential in YouTube's new program, which now paid creators based off of certain met criteria on their videos. This is what's now known as the YouTube Partnership Program, which you can actually help me get to by subscribing and liking this video. Please, seriously, please help me get there. Please. Next New Network had a goal of launching 100 differently branded channels in 5 years. In his first month there, Justin pitched a channel about filmmaking, and they actually agreed to do it. Imagine being at a job for 1 month, and your boss is saying, yeah, we'll give you all this money to start this. Good luck. I don't have a joke for that. That would just be pretty cool. Justin then brought in his friend Eric from the Film Fights website to create a show that he described to him as building stuff. And on April 16th, 2007, that channel named Indy Mogul would upload its first video. It was only 26 seconds long and was Eric saying what the show he was making was about, what it would be called, and that it would be uploaded every week. Real quick, I just want to show you guys the description of this video. Being an adult now and reading this just kind of makes me realize that finding this channel as a kid was the perfect thing for me. I used to love watching DVD commentaries of movies and seeing how they were made. All I wanted to do was become a filmmaker. So discovering Indy Mogul was one of the best things that ever happened to me as a kid. Well, that and discovering masturbation. The first official episode of BFX was released on May 15th, 2007, where Eric showed how to make a jetpack prop. This first episode would set the exact formula that the rest of the series would follow for years to come. It also introduced a lot of things that would become staples and what BFX would be known for in the rest of the series. Things like the Wheel of Prosperity, which would spin, land on a price, and determine the budget of what was being built in that episode. Another thing it introduces is Gary, who was Eric's puppet companion, who acted as a somewhat mascot for the show. It also introduced what the show called the test film. The test film would be included at the end of every episode, and would show exactly what the build in the episode could look like in an actual short film, which as a kid was really damn cool to see, because it proves that although you might not have the means to get what you see in the movies, all you need is a little creativity, vision, and motivation, and you can make something work just as well for yourself. Obviously, you're not going to do what J.J. Abrams and... Is he canceled? No, that's... Okay. Just making sure. It's not going to look like what the pros look like, but you're just going to try to make something that looks cool for you and your friends, honestly. That was mainly the whole part of it, and I think that's what made it cool, because you didn't have to be a millionaire. You could be you. Now let's fast forward to 2008, where your boy was a whole 9 years old. Look at me, so cute. What the fuck happened? At this age, I was completely fascinated by movies, YouTube videos, or pretty much anything that had to do with media. I was into it. I wanted to be in production and a filmmaker, so anything along those lines, I was completely into. And what really got me into that was special effects and makeup. Long story short, I used to be terrified of horror movies until my dad told me about this guy that they used to call the Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney, in special effects and makeup. And that's when I figured out that the monsters that I was so scared of on screen weren't monsters, they were art created by artists and creative people. So because of that, I would spend hours on YouTube just researching and learning as much as I could about special effects makeup because I was so fascinated by it. And through all those hours of watching videos and looking up what I looked up, that's actually how I found Backyard Effects. This is the first episode of Backyard Effects I ever watched. Watching this back, I can tell that although I love the concept and the subject of the show and it drew me in, what really got me hooked on the show was Eric. You see, Eric was just so weird and chaotic and funny and just so comfortable being himself. And it was really awesome. As someone who has struggled being comfortable with being myself for a really long time, I can tell you that as a kid and well, even now, seeing someone be so comfortable in their skin is just, it's so nice.
I'm a genie, and I'm here to grant you one wish.
Hey, what kind of genie are you? You should give me 3 wishes.
If you make more than one wish, I'm gonna have to kill you.
At this time in the show, some things had evolved since the first episode.
Things like the wheel had a new look, and the overall quality of the show was higher.
The show also added a new segment called Shopping List,
which showed everything that was being used to build whatever was in the episode and what it cost.
The show also added a skill difficulty meter that ranged from 1 through 10, 1 being the easiest thing to make and 10 being the most difficult thing to make. There's also an evolution to the building process. The show now had a more thorough and detailed explanation of how things are being built during a segment that they called Super Time Lapse.
Super time lapse. Woo!
I remember saying that same thing so much as a kid. When I was growing up, I loved this show so much. That's probably how my parents should have known I had ADHD. I would just say this over and over and over. And I still say this sometimes till this day. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jared, seriously, this doesn't help with the smoke machine.
Dude, you know this is the only thing that's gonna add any drama to this, right?
No, it adds pain to my throat. And you know I have Glee Club practice tomorrow. God.
That's where my comedy comes from. That right there. Thank you, Eric Beck, for making me funny. I'm funny, right? Am I funny? Even the test films evolved. As now, at the end of the episode, instead of showing a test film, they would show a test film trailer because it would now be uploaded as a separate video the next day. The show would continue as usual every week. Eric would be Eric, he would build, Gary would spin the wheel, shopping list, super time lapse, test film, and repeat. It was informative, entertaining, and my absolute favorite thing to watch every single day. Well, it was until January 4th, 2010. The week before that date, Eric had teased that there would be big news regarding BFX the next week. So on that fateful Monday, there was a special video uploaded to talk about that big news that had no build included in it. Seeing the words big news in a title from your favorite creators is such a weird thing, because it can either be something huge that makes you super happy for them and gets them to that next level, or it can be something terrible that changes everything forever. And for me, at least with this, it was the latter. And that's because on this episode, Eric said this.
We are starting a campaign to find the next host for Backyard Effects. Oh no. That's right. Just let it soak in, and then I'll explain.
A new campaign was launched to find a new host of the show so that Eric could step down and solely focus on running Indy Mogul itself. The campaign would be open from that date to February 22nd of the same year to find a new host. Anybody could enter. All you had to do was create your own episode of the show in the exact same format that it's been and upload on Indy Mogul's website. Watching this as a kid completely broke my heart. I couldn't imagine a BFX without Eric in it. Not gonna lie. It still kind of hurts. Like right here. Like right here, deep inside. Right here, I have the pain of Batista turning on Rey Mysterio, and right here is the pain of Eric leaving BFX. Oh, and then right here is the pain of that guy in the Barney costume that told me I had to get some candy. It was really good candy though. 4 weeks later, we got the first of 6 episodes to see who our potential new host of the show could be.
The first of these videos would be hosted by Patrick, who built on Necronomicon from The Evil Dead.
Based on the comments of this video, the audience really seemed to enjoy this episode. Personally, I really enjoyed the test film. The next episode was hosted by Dave Knopp, who showed how to make a radio dolly for your camera. Dave was one of my favorite submissions during this time. I remember liking his videos so much that I even sent him a message through YouTube back when you could actually do that, telling him how much I really enjoyed his content. I bet there's some of you on here that actually didn't know that was a thing back in the day, but yeah, you could actually send messages to your favorite creators on YouTube. It was a wild time. It was like the Wild West of the YouTube. He actually still uploads, and I think that's super awesome. As someone who is an aspiring creator on this platform, it is really awesome to see that the people that I grew up watching still doing it and doing it for the love and the passion, and it's just really cool to see. It's really motivating for me as someone who's trying to do this, to chase their dream and create and do this because it's their passion. See someone that I watched as a kid still doing it. It's so motivating, and keep it up, Dave. You are awesome. Based off the comments of Dave's episode, the viewers felt the exact same way I did and really enjoyed Dave as a host. After Dave, we got Ryan. Ryan taught us how to make some Spider-Man web shooters. At this point as a potential new host, I loved this build the most as a kid. People in the comments really liked the simplicity of Ryan's build, his sense of humor, and his test film. I understand that I'm basically just repeating over and over what the comments said in these videos, but you gotta understand, this is 2010 YouTube. Oh my god, that was 14 years. Oh, by the time of this video, that was 15 years ago. Damn. There really is no other way to gauge what the audience thought about each episode. There are no community polls, no surveys, no links for people to click and vote, nothing. So all we can really do to understand about how the community felt about these videos and these people is through their own words in the comments, because the comment section is all we really have to gauge. So that's why I keep repeating it. Next up, we got Garrett, who built a blood cannon.
Views in the comments all kind of agreed that Garrett was the collective favorite potential new host at this point. From what I can tell, it's because while sticking to the format of the show, he definitely was the most unique person by putting his own spin and hosting style on the show. Mike Smith was next, who taught us how to make jetpacks and robots. Based off the comments, Mike was the overall leader up to this point.
I know it seems like every person I mention is the new favorite in the comments, but again, it's the only thing I got to go off of, so. I personally think that up to this point, he definitely had the most potential to make the show his own. And not just build off of Eric's legacy, but also carve his own in the process. Ooh. Okay, we made it to the end. I'm almost out of breath. Damn, I'm out of shape. We now go from robots to droids, and more specifically, flying droids. By the way, what is the difference between a robot and a droid? If you know, please put it in the comments, because I have no clue. This next potential new host was named Zach Finfrock, who built a flying droid and also had his own puppet companion named Puppet Zach. Once again, fans of the show flooded the comment section with support for Zach. Personally, I think Zach had the best test film out of all the other candidates. The following 2 weeks after Zach, Eric resumed his hosting duties and taught us how to make a Freddy Krueger glove and how to replicate his makeup. These videos were actually sponsored by the remake of The Nightmare on Elm Street, which is really cool because a major movie just sponsored this small YouTube show. And it was really one of the first times that you kind of saw the new revolution of YouTube coming out, where a major Hollywood studio is recognizing the influence and power that a show like this has on a community of filmmakers and kids and teenagers and adults. So I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. It's just really cool to see that this was the power that YouTube and content had. On April 19th, 2010, a video was released to announce who the new host of the show would be. After months of potential new hosts, fans of the show were filled with anticipation to finally find out who the new host of the show would be. The new host of Backyard Effects was finally announced.
I am very pleased to announce the new host of Backyard Effects, the one and only Zach Finfrock!
Once again in the comments of the video, the fans flooded it with support and excitement for Zach. It also had tons of comments thanking Eric for all that he's done and wishing him good luck in the future. It is absolutely insane to see how much YouTube has changed. As I was writing this video, I went through all the comments on all the videos I'm mentioning. And like most everyone on the internet today, I expected it to see it filled with arguing, hate, and terms that I don't fully understand that apparently all the cool kids are using now. Oh my god, I'm old now, aren't I? Oh, it just hit. Oh my gosh, I'm old. Oh no. But believe it or not, there really wasn't any of that. It is kind of sad how the internet turned into such a toxic place and we just kind of expect people to be mean to each other in the comments now. However, it's also a great testament to show how strong and nice the community of people who loved and enjoyed the show was. It really was a community. And I grew up in this community. And it's really important to me that I give back and try to do the same thing for kids now. So after seeing this, I'm not gonna lie, it really does inspire me to be nicer to people online. Eric's last build episode of BFX will be uploaded on May 3rd, 2010.
Hello everyone and welcome to the last BFX build episode before new host Zach Finfrock takes over
in 2 weeks.
where he showed how to do a zombie bite effect. This was a regular episode, followed the usual format. There wasn't really anything too special about it. Well, except for the fact that George A. Romero was in it.
I challenge Eric Beck to recreate a special effect from my new movie, Survival of the Dead, for less than $50.
On May 10th, 2010, Eric's official last episode of BFX would be uploaded. After 3 years, he was now done with the show he created, and now moving up to run the entire channel he was responsible for building. This episode included clips of past and present Indy Mogul alumni and employees, as well as fans sharing their favorite memories and moments from the show. It then finished with closing remarks from Eric himself.
People that inspired all of us to keep making those shows are all of you people out there. You know, you guys inspire us, and we hope that, you know, we can inspire you. Just remember, keep making movies, and that you really don't need a ton of money to tell a great story.
Thus ending the original incarnation of BFX.
Peace!
The next era of BFX would kick off with Zach's first episode, where he built an Iron Man repulsor arm. Zach set the tone right away in his first episode saying this.
Okay, first I want to note that although I am the new host of BFX, I'm in no way trying to replace Eric Beck or what he's done for the show or network. I'm just a new pair of eyes looking through the same pair of sunglasses.
The new incarnation of the show with Zach as a host was awesome. To me, it really did feel like the show kicked into a new gear. Zach was a great host. He was funny, he was entertaining, and his builds were awesome. His test films also felt way more cinematic than the previous versions of the shows because he was such a good filmmaker. I really loved him as a host. I think this version of BFX really holds a special place in my heart because I was there from the start of Zach, and he was so comfortable right away, but he got more comfortable the more he did it, and we as an audience grew to love him more and more the more he hosted. But as awesome as Zach's time as host was, it really didn't last that long.
Sad news it is. We're just gonna do it like a Band-Aid right off! Okay. Go ahead, Tom Brace.
Oh, okay. At the end of July, BFX will be airing its final episode.
Yeah, after 4 years, hundreds of builds, 2 hosts, and the most amazing audience ever, it's time for BFX to take a bow.
On July 18th, 2011, the official last build episode of BFX was uploaded. This episode would be an extremely rare 10 difficulty level build. This episode was about building a Harry Potter Death Eater mask, which sounds awesome, but to me was actually kind of disappointing because Zach didn't even build this. Instead, he handed it off to his friend and professional makeup artist Rallis Khan. Now, I'm not faulting Rallis in any way, he did an amazing job, but he's a professional, he works in Hollywood, he has all the tools of a Hollywood level professional at his disposal, and again, in my opinion, that's what the show was made to counter. And the fact that the host didn't even build it, if I'm honest, is kind of another slap in the face. In my opinion, ending a show that's whole premise is about making your own Hollywood level props, effects, and makeup, but at a fraction of the price and making it work for you, is so disappointing that it ended the opposite way. I love Zach and I love Indy Mogul, but I do think that the ending of the show was a bit disrespectful and disappointing to all the fans of the show, just because it kind of went against what the show was about. And I know I have the minority opinion here because if you look in the comments, people love this episode, they love the build, but again, this is just my opinion. It was just kind of sad to see. Zach then ended the episode with this speech.
Guys, that is it for the final episode of Backyard Effects. I mean, that's it. There's no more. This is it. This is the series finale. And I want to thank you guys for being the best audience ever. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people, and I got to thank Eric for giving me a chance and giving us a chance to do this.
But this wouldn't be the official last episode of BFX, as that would come later in the form of a 15-minute short film that was the complete opposite of the last build. Because this short film was the best ending any fan of this show could ask for. This short film took us all the way back to the beginning of BFX and a time travel story. Eric himself goes back in time to the filming of the first BFX episode and kills himself to stop BFX from ever happening. It then essentially turns into Indy Mogul's version of A Christmas Carol or It's a Wonderful Life. One thing BFX fans know it for is the iconic transition sound that's used in the episodes. And one thing I really love about this is that throughout the film they did include that sound to just really tie it together as a BFX episode. But again, as a fan of the show, it was just those little things that made this so much better to watch and such a good ending to the show that we all loved so much. This short film paid so much respect to the fans. It had everything that BFX was known for in it. It had previous builds in it, it had Indy Mogul alumni in it, And I think most importantly, it had the comedy that fans like me of the show loved so much in it.
Ow! You punched me!
I think the absolute best part of this though has to be towards the end when fans of the show shared how much the show meant to them in it. It even included an end credit scene with some small YouTube creators that probably don't even exist anymore.
Backyard Effects went offline. We won. No way. The internet's ours, boys. The internet's ours.
Logo. After 4 years, 2 months, and 3 days, BFX was officially over. Until 2013, when the TV channel Epix hired Eric to do a BFX style show that lasted until 2014. But we won't count that since it was on TV. In 2011, YouTube bought Indy Mogul's parent company, Next New Networks, and with that, buying Indy Mogul as well. The next year, in 2012, Eric and Justin decided to leave their new jobs at Google to pursue indie filmmaking in Los Angeles. In December of 2013, Indy Mogul uploaded its last video because YouTube decided to shut the channel down. And they did this because, actually, I don't know why. Sometimes YouTube just does stuff. It's business. I don't know. Why don't I have 1,000 subscribers? Ask YouTube. Because people think my content sucks. I don't know. And just like that, the original Filmmakers YouTube channel was gone after almost 7 years. After almost 2.5 years of silence, Indy Mogul uploaded again out of nowhere on June 5th, 2016. It turns out that in late 2015, YouTube actually sold Indy Mogul back to Eric and Justin. So in true Indy Mogul fashion, there is only one proper way to relaunch this channel. With Eric Beck teaching us how to make exploding underwear. A brand new show called Eric Builds the Movies was released. This was basically a grown-up version of BFX, but had all the same personality and style that fans like me of the show had grown up with. Unfortunately, in what sadly seems like a trend with Indy Mogul at this point, this show was short-lived with only 8 episodes being released. But 6 months later, Indy Mogul released this. BFX is back! This time with a guest host named Jacob Kasnov. I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. As people who have watched these videos on this channel know, I am terrible at pronouncing names. So this clip that I'm showing here is actually episode 2 of what was supposed to be a 3-part comeback series for the show. But for some reason, the other 2 episodes don't exist publicly on Indy Mogul's channel. There's actually quite a few episodes of BFX that I was unable to find that have either been privatized or, for all we know, deleted. Believe me, I went all the way back to the beginning of Indy Mogul's channel and I couldn't find them. The next publicly available episode of BFX was uploaded on October 16th, 2017. Now permanently hosted by Jacob Kasnov, congratulations by the way, he showed us how to make a Pickle Rick costume. We also got a new puppet companion named Gabe. This version of the show was basically just like the original version of the show that Eric hosted, just not with Eric. It's really awesome to know that the new generation of kids that have dreams of becoming filmmakers and now have more access to accomplishing that more than ever have their own version of BFX that inspires them till this day. They canceled it again, didn't they? The last publicly available episode of BFX was published on December 15th, 2017. And just as fast as it had returned, it was gone once again. Until... No, I'm just kidding. It's dead. It's officially dead. Well, I mean, for now at least. Indy Mogul continued to release content on a consistent schedule up until 3 years ago. This is the last video they posted. As of now, the future of this channel and this beloved show is up in the air. And sadly, I honestly don't think it's coming back. Eric now works on actual Hollywood movies and shows doing effects. Justin is now doing his role at BMP Creative, which is described as a global team of experts crafting authentic, high-quality content that audiences respond to and algorithms love. By working with writers and creators who have a genuine passion for this medium, we turn advertisements into entertainment and viewers into fans. He still sometimes posts on his personal channel, with the most recent upload being his documentary from 2015. After his time as host, Zach went on to do one of the most beloved Fallout fan series ever called Fallout Nuka Break. He now streams on Twitch and is currently working on another Fallout project. He also briefly co-hosted a show called The Mad Monster Lab with his friend Rawless Khan that I mentioned earlier, but that eventually died too after only 3 episodes. Jacob Kasnov, aka William Shakespeare, actually continues the legacy of BFX on his channel, where he uploads his own DIY film videos till this day. Indy Mogul, and for me more specifically BFX, taught kids like me with dreams of making films that they weren't just dreams. They were things that could actually be done, and not just done eventually, but done now. We don't need thousands or millions of dollars to do it, we can just do it, and most importantly, we can do it ourselves. While writing this video, I genuinely thought that there wasn't many people out there who felt or feel as passionately about this little internet show as I did. I thought maybe people just kind of forgot about it after it ended. But that was until I actually went back and read the comments on videos, with tons of people saying how much the show meant to them growing up. But there was still a part of me that made me think that people didn't care about this as much as I did. That was until I found this Reddit AMA that Justin did in 2015. In there was people thanking him for his part in inspiring them and telling them how much what he did and what he created meant to them. And that's when I knew I had to make this. Not just to talk about my favorite internet show, not just to go back and rewatch a gigantic part of my childhood, but to say thank you. Thank you, Justin, Eric, Zach, Jacob. Thank you to everyone who was ever involved with Indy Mogul. Thank you so much for letting this kid and even this adult know that although I may not ever be able to make a movie, I know that I can always pick up what I have, mix it with a little creativity and passion, maybe even add a puppet or two, and do what you guys did, and just create something. Thank you so much. You matter, you're loved, and if no one's told you today, I love you. See you next time.
So, just subscribe. Just subscribe. That's all I have to say. Thanks. Goodbye.